Hi, English class. So today we're going to start talking about money. Okay. I know as you're researching schools, you're seeing the price tag and wondering, well, how am I supposed to pay for that? So what we're going to do this week is talk about your finances. So we're going to talk about money in terms of where you can apply to get some, what type of monies are available, um, how much debt is good debt, things like that. So the week is dedicated to just money because it's something that I think some students don't quite understand that you can receive money, how much there is, and where you get it. Okay, so the first application we're going to talk about that every single one of you is going to fill out is the FAFSA form. Everyone fills out FAFSA, except if you are undocumented. FAFSA is the federal student aid from the federal government, so they will go over the process of it. Everyone will apply for this except if you are undocumented. Now, if your parents are undocumented, I believe you still qualify for this, but you need to talk to Ms. K. And please don't do anything before you talk to Ms. K. Ms. K is the expert. She's our college advisor. That's her job. That's what she does. Her whole life revolves around college application, all this stuff, right? Understanding how to get into college, how to pay for it. So I'm here to give you some information to help your conversations with her be better and more productive. But she is the expert. So if I say something, I could be wrong. I'm pretty good at knowing whether I know what I know. Does that make sense? If the information I'm giving you is accurate or not. So I do know that you will all apply for this except for students that are undocumented. And I believe, right, try to check my words, I believe if your family, your parents are undocumented, you can still apply for this. So first, College Board. You should be on this website every single day for a variety of reasons. Has this little video. And when I first saw it, I was like, and then I watched it and went, that's adorables. So we're gonna watch this video. It's someone you can see it's pretty short, just talking about her experience filing for FAFSA.
Education with financial aid. I have siblings who also need to go to college. Luckily, the financial aid application process is
Oh
pretty
my goodness,
simple.
I'm so sorry.
All of the grants and loans available to you, like through federal programs and stuff, are one.
Sorry, and I don't want to edit this, so we're going to start from the beginning. And you're like, lady, really? I apologize. I'm just trying to make this a little bit louder. I apologize. I'm wasting
I knew
time.
I'd have to fund most of my education with financial aid. I have siblings who also need to go to college. Luckily, the financial aid application process is pretty simple. All of the grants and loans available to you, like through federal programs and stuff, are one application. My parents help me fill it out. The FAFSA application through the federal government gets most of the grants and loans. Scholarships are usually separate applications. They're a little harder to find. And since I'm between programs doing an individualized degree, there's not a lot. A lot of them are oriented towards a specific degree program.
Okay, great. Sorry that I botched that up a little bit. So I think she gives a good little overview of what FAFSA is. And just note, you're going to apply for FAFSA in the fall, which we'll talk about dates in a second, and then you apply every single year after that. It's something that you continuously apply for. And FAFSA is, again, through the federal government. They're going to give you grants, scholarships, and loans. So that's something just to think about when you get your report from FAFSA. Some of the money might be a loan, which means you pay it back. Other monies are scholarships and grants, which means you get that, right? You don't have to pay that back. So that's just something to be weary of, like, or alert of for FAFSA, that it's a little bit of both. I didn't notice this when I first went on the website. I apologize. So there's a webinar to get resources. So let me just check that out real quick and let me see if okay, sorry for that. The webinar looks great. It's an hour and a half. So that resource is there. So big future, you have your little 30-second video, and then here you do have a webinar that you could sit through if this becomes overwhelming. So to apply for most financial aid, including federal and state, we'll talk about in a second, where it's studying loans, you complete the free application for federal student aid, FAFSA. And there was a scam a few years ago where kids were getting links to a website that asked them to pay money to complete this application. This application is free. So if at any point someone asks you to pay for something, it's a scam, don't do it. So although this financial aid form may seem complex, there are free resources to help you Again, there's Miss K, there's that webinar. So where do I fill this out? The FAFSA is available on the FAFSA website. I would not recommend a paper copy. So you just simply click there and it brings you to this website. Something to note that the website is not like FAFSA.com or FAFSA.org, excuse me. It's studentaid.gov. So just keeping that in mind, make sure that when you click on the website, it looks like this. Okay, so going back, all right. Whoops. So FAFSA on the web. So before you apply, complete your income tax return. So FAFSA is going to partially determine how much you get, and I'll explain that in a second, based on your family's tax returns. So now I know we're in a little bit of limbo with tax returns. I haven't even done my taxes for this year. They've been extended, so hopefully you get that done by August. I would ask your family to try to get it done by August because you want to have some time before filing for FAFSA to be done. So again, talk to Ms. K about that. If your family hasn't done it or is having issues getting their income tax returns done, please reach out to her because that can impact FAFSA. I don't know if they're going to change the rules because we're in a freaking pandemic, right? But just something to note. So here's something, a date, right? So we were talking about application forms, what the dates are, and I said as soon as possible. So to be sure your FAFSA soon after, I'm sorry, be sure to complete your FAFSA soon after it becomes available on October 1st. So here's how I explain FAFSA. So let's say you and your friend have the exact same income tax returns. Your family has the exact same finances, you own the same things, you're identical in terms of money and what you own. You file your FAFSA October 10th and your friend files it December 2nd. Theoretically, you are going to receive more money because FAFSA is not like a math equation. They don't plug in your numbers, click equal, and then they tell you exactly how much you're going to get. You're going to get a guesstimate of how much money you will receive when you file, but think of FAFSA like a big pot, and it's filled with money. And the longer it stays open, the less and less money is available in that pot. So a filing sooner than later is very important for FAFSA. Now, what does that have to do with your applications? You cannot, in our school, this is how we roll, it's how we roll in our school, you can't apply for FAFSA until you complete your applications. Because part of the issue is when you complete FAFSA, you have to tell the federal government what schools you're applying to. Because they need to know where the money is going, right? So if they're calculating that they want to give you 12 grand in a variety of scholarships, grants, and loans, but your school only costs 10, well, they're not going to send you 12, right? They need to know how much money your school costs, how much money the school is giving you, etc. So you do not fill out FAFSA until you complete your applications. That's why you do your application super early so you can get into that FAFSA pot sooner than later, around October. Okay, so I hope that was clear to everyone. If you need that explained, let me know. You first, so make sure you got your income tax information done. I know, especially this year, it's going to be tough. So we'll see what happens if they come up with other guidelines. Then you create a FAFSA ID, which you can do by clicking this. You could do this now if you wanted to. You can wait till September to create your ID. Usually, when I taught seniors, I did this in class with them. It's up to you. You could do this on your own. If you don't want to mess it up because it's a big deal, you could wait and do this in class in September where you feel like you have, a little bit more cushion with folks helping you. You want to collect documents. Here's your document list. So what do you need to fill out the FAFSA form? You need a social security number. And like I said, you do need to be a documented or an alien registration number. So either one so that you're on a pathway of citizenship. Your federal income tax returns, which is also known as your W-2. Bank statements, records of untaxed income if applicable, and of course your FSA ID, which you could do now, but you don't have to if you're nervous about messing something up because this is a little bit stressful considering what a big deal it is. All right, so you complete the application. So reminders, October 1st is when the pot opens. They do have a website for help. More help could be found here, student aid on the web. And then I know nothing about this, so please don't ask me any questions. But a new thing they're asking you to do is to go onto the IRS data retrieval tool. Um, you and your parents may be eligible if your family income tax returns were filed electronically at least 2 weeks before you complete FAFSA, or your family income tax returns were mailed at least 8 weeks. That's why I said if you could try to get your income tax done earlier than later, that would be beneficial. I don't know what this is. So maybe you can ask Ms. K. This is, oh, of course the page doesn't work. Why would it, right? Ask Ms. K about that because that's new and I'm not familiar with it. So you apply. So what happens afterwards? You get a SAR report, which is basically a guesstimate of how much money they think you're going to get, that all the information went through. Oh, excuse me. SAR report is that everything went through. I apologize. The EFC is the figure of the expected amount. Is it going to be that exact number? No, it's not. Could it be? Sure. But the SAR is that, okay, here's all the information we got. Make sure it's right. EFC is this is what we think you might get. And then there are other financial aid forms. I don't know what this is either. I was perusing this and I saw this. The issue I have with this financial aid form is that you have to pay for it. And I've never heard of a financial aid form that you have to pay for. So if on your own time you get on this website and you want to check out the CSS financial aid profile, go for it. Ask Ms. K. Okay, and then you have some information here. So that's FAFSA. Like I said, every single one of you is going to apply for this. You will get money in the form of a grant, scholarship, or loan. You will get a guesstimate of how much you're going to receive after you fill FAFSA out, but you won't know exactly until you start getting your school acceptances. I think that's everything. I hope that was clear. Please let me know if you have any questions about FAFSA, and I hope this was helpful.